after a car that looks like a 1980s PVC conservatory on wheels? It's a question I'm almost sick of answering. Thankfully, a bright spark with a flair for design at Aston Martin had a similar idea, and this is what he came up with. Hello and welcome to the Mini Hustler. Now, there's no need to change the channel, you are not mistaken. I'm not auditioning to become the next Pope with my own personal Pope-mobile. Now, this is a review of that absurdly bonkers Mini Hustler. We're going to have a proper look around this thing. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what on earth it is, because there's every chance you've never seen one before. We're going to get it out on the road, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I think. I must say, I'm rather looking forward to this one, so let's crack on. Now, I know what you're thinking, because it's exactly what I thought when I first laid my eyes on one of these Hustlers. Let's cross off a few queries you're probably going to have right off the bat. No, it is not a golf cart. No, it's not a Pope-mobile. No, it's not some sort of motorbike thing. This was a kit car, a car you could buy in the 1970s and 80s, believe it or not. And it's the brainchild of an absolute legend of the automotive design world. Now, that might be somewhat hard to believe, especially from as flattering of an angle as this one, but the Hustler was born in the mind of William Townes. Now, that may not be a name you're all too familiar with, but rest assured when I tell you he is something of an authority on car design. Best known for his work with Aston Martin, he was responsible for the equally bonkers and square and flat and wedged Aston Martin Lagonda. When he wasn't busy designing epics for Aston Martin and the likes, William was formulating a plan in his head to create a fun, lightweight, economical and quirky car true to his design style that was based around modular construction. The design he came up with was this, the Hustler, and it was built using glass fibre and, you guessed it, looking at it from this angle, glass. This is what we were given by the time Townes' design had materialised off the page and into the real world. It's the Hustler 4. Named so thoughtfully after the number of wheels that it had, more on that later, the Hustler 4 was, to say the least, absolutely insane. It utilised Townes' modular construction as he wanted, and a lot of glass fibre and glass, as you can tell. And there was just so much to talk about. It was quintessential William Townes, to say the least. For example, these side panels double up as both doors and windows. So to get in, you slide this and jump in there. And as you would have probably seen at the beginning of this video, it makes it awfully difficult to get in and out of. And it was the same story in the rear, because if you wanted people to jump in the back of your Hustler 4, you opened up another quite large tempered glass tailgate, pulled down what looked like a pair of old medical crutches to support it, and then your mates jump in the boot like that. It's just a wild thing. I mean, I absolutely love it. But what on earth was he thinking? Now, the Hustler must have been somewhat popular and had appeal to more than just myself, because around 500 of these were sold throughout its production span. You could get these as kits and in a variety of different body styles and trim levels. There was this, obviously the most common, Hustler 4. There was the Sport, the Sprint. There was a whole long list of different Hustlers you could get. In 1981, wood paneling was introduced to replace the glass fibre if you wanted, and then there was the craziest one of them all, the one that took things off the charts, the Hustler 6, which, as you might have been able to tell by the name, denoted the number of wheels you could get on your Hustler. Yes, William decided that we needed a 6-wheeled variant of this, really because this wasn't bonkers enough. And boy, am I glad he did, because the Hustler 6 is an absolutely epic thing to look at. If you get a chance, have a little Google and see if you can find some pictures of ones. I'm sure you will be impressed. They are an entirely rare thing now, though, and when ones do come up, they're not for sale for long before they're snapped up by collectors. Feels like I'm trying to get through passport security opening that. What's the inside of the Hustler like then? Naturally, it's a little bit on the weird side. There's plenty of room thanks to this odd layout. You've got a load of headroom up here, and because of how deep the footwells are, there's a load of footroom as well. You could pretty much stand up in this thing and not need to bend or crouch. You've got room for 2 in the front and at least 2 in the back, so you and your mates could go out in your Hustler 4 with no dramas. It's a decent level of fit and finish as well. With a lot of these sort of kit style cars from this era, you're always worried that all the gauges are going to fall out and the doors are going to fall off, but this feels like a quality item. This one does have a mini Clubman steering wheel that wouldn't have been standard, and obviously these chairs are mismatched, those wouldn't have been standard, but overall it remains a very nice place to be and a good, generally quite original example of a Hustler 4 inside. Now, there's not anything particularly crazy to talk about when you open this bonnet that's more reminiscent of a garage door. It's all Mini under here. These were derived from Minis. This particular example was born from a 1975 Austin Mini with a 998cc four-cylinder engine. Those have around 40 or 45 horsepower. These aren't quick cars, but they don't weigh a lot, around 600 kilos or thereabouts, so they get along the road quite nicely. Most of these are still Mini based. Some have had slightly bigger 1275cc engine swaps and things of that nature, but there's actually quite a lot of room in here thanks to the big wide square construction. Right then, I've manoeuvred myself into the Hustler. Let's slide over our little door and see what it's like to drive. Immediately, it's very odd. That's, I think, the key word here. Everything about this, despite the fact it's a very familiar engine and gearbox and pedal box layout, it's just a Mini underneath. I feel like I'm just driving around in a fish tank. There is glass everywhere I look. I can't not be looking through a window, doesn't matter what direction. And I do feel like I've got an uncanny resemblance to the Pope driving about in this, though I don't think the Pope drives his own Pope-mobile. Perhaps he's missing a touch there. Even with just one side view mirror on the go, visibility is nothing short of excellent. As I said, it's just all glass. It's actually, though, I must say, quite a pleasant thing to drive. It's all just Mini. It's classic Mini from the late 70s, early 80s. It's very familiar in that sense, and it's just easy to drive. Yes, it's an odd shape, and yes, literally every single person that's seen me has given me the weirdest look ever because I'm driving a Mini Hustler, but it is, as I keep saying, familiar. I've probably got 40, perhaps on a good day 50 horsepower, but that's all you need. I'm doing 40 miles an hour and it's perfectly comfortable. I must say, all of the glass door window things are quite rattly. I've got them locked into position so they can't just slide open, but it does have the uncanny feeling that I'm driving around in my mum's conservatory. Gearbox, 4-speed manual, does what it says on the tin really. It suits this engine very nicely, just throws along, but it's all nice and tight with good clutch action, and the brakes are surprisingly good. I suppose this doesn't weigh an awful lot of anything. I think it's around 660 kilos total weight of this thing, so it stops nice and easily, and though it's limited on power, it does get up and go, so to speak. Heel and towing in a shed, it's very odd. Though it looks absolutely vast and square and wide from the outside, it really isn't a very big thing, even in 6-wheel form, so it's nice and manoeuvrable. What a tremendous little thing this is. I'm having an absolutely wonderful time driving it. I would say, if you're a subtle person or you don't like any sort of attention, this probably isn't the vehicle for you, because literally everyone has either waved at me, smiled at me, or, the most common, laughed at me. So then, the Mini Hustler, what have I got to say? Well, as a general rule of thumb, I don't tend to like kit cars. I've never been that fond of them. I never think they're built that well, and they're normally quite ugly. And in this case, some of that is true. This is a horrendously ugly car, but I love it all the more for that. It's absolutely bonkers. It's perfectly insane. It's so wild that you can't help but love it. I love the styling. I love these stupid sliding glass doors, the rear glass tailgate. I love the layout. I love the look, and I love the attention it gets when you drive it. Everyone smiles at you because it's just so funny and friendly. Drivability, it's actually a very pleasant thing to drive, because remember, this is just a Mini underneath. It's easy enough to drive, parts are easy to get, and if something goes wrong, you could just swap in another engine. So there's very little not to like in that respect. And what's quite interesting about the Hustler is, unlike a lot of kit cars from the 70s and 80s, these have become quite collectible and values are actually going up. Good ones of these get snapped up in an instant, especially if they're the Hustler 6 6-wheeled ones or the wood panelled ones. But even these run-of-the-mill standard Hustler 4s really do demand a premium at the moment. I think if you want something a little bit weird, aesthetically at least, that's actually usable and pleasant to drive, you've got to have a look at one of these Hustlers, because I've loved every minute of my time with it. Thank you very much for watching the video review of this teeny tiny little mini hustler. I do hope you've enjoyed. If you like this sort of thing, please check out our other video reviews. And remember, if you have a classic car to sell, please get in touch with us at classiccarbuyer.co.uk. We'd love to hear from you. Bye bye.